I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin, and in this video I will bring you an up-to-date adjusted price prediction and listing information for the Solchicks launch, which is going to happen tomorrow. In my previous video I made quite some mistakes because I rushed through it a little bit. Today I'm going to bring you the most up-to-date information, including the market cap, all the information you need to know, how to claim your tokens, a price prediction, and my selling strategy. What is very important today is Sunday. I am very tired, so I'll take it quite slow on this video. It will be a quite long video, so if you're going to complain about that, just leave, that's okay. If you respect the hustle, then please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really do appreciate all the support you guys give me. We're going to take it slow. I have a lot of things to discuss, so it will be quite a long video, but this time, because it's one day before the launch and in the previous video I made 4 mistakes in the calculations, this time I want to do things right. So it might be a little bit slow sometimes, I might double check some things, but that's just so I can give you the right information. All right, we're in Excel. I did prepare some information already just to make sure that we're going to base our calculations off these metrics, so they had to be 100% correct, which I know they are. So I got the tokenomics right here. This is the latest version of the tokenomics, which I received on Tuesday from my Solchicks direct content. So somebody from the Solchicks team sent me this because obviously I create these videos. I need to have the right information. They were supposed to send me an update on Friday. That didn't happen. So this is what we're going to assume are the final tokenomics. As of today, no other tokenomics update has been presented. And otherwise, obviously, I can't make the video. So one thing I didn't take into consideration, which some of my inner circle group of friends I talk about, which I really appreciate, is that I didn't take into consideration the ecosystem, the liquidity, and the advisory team on the token generation event the last time I made a price prediction video. Well, what is the impact of this? Apparently a lot. As you guys know, this is also completely new to me. I only started researching these things a month and a half ago, and I'm learning new stuff every single day. So this was an amazing finding because the Solchicks team is basically saying that 1.7% of tokens in circulation is what's going to happen on the token generation event. That is actually true and not true at the same time. So it is true that the funds that have been raised, according to the fundraising, is 1.7% TGE, which brings you to about a 9 million market cap. However, what is also included in the token generation event, which was, to be fair, not that clear, is of course the team specifically. Let me see where it is right now, because it was here before. Maybe I opened the wrong one. Anyway, all right, here it is. So excluding exchange liquidity, right? TGE unlock 1.9% here, excluding exchange liquidity. Well, I added the ecosystem, which is 0.9% TGE, and I added the liquidity, which is 5%, which has 100% TGE. And then the team and advisors, so it's not the team, the Solchicks team, it is the advisory team specifically, gets 0.1% TGE. Looking at all these metrics, then how much is the total circulation upon TGE, not only for buying and selling, which is basically the private seed, the private sale, and the public sale, but also how much money is in the overall supply. 7.7% total out of 10 billion tokens brings you to about 770 million. Doing that times the IDO price, opening price, listing price of 5 cents per chick token brings you to a market cap of 38.5 million. This is obviously not the fully diluted market cap, because then we would have to add an additional 93%. So you can imagine that this market cap is a lot higher than the 9 million previously indicated by the team. I wasn't aware how this worked. apparently. So I did learn a great thing, that these three metrics are obviously extremely important, specifically the liquidity. So of course I started asking questions, and these guys were truly amazing in taking their time on a Saturday evening to explain to me for 20 minutes, because I asked question after question. I just didn't understand how it worked. And they took the time to educate me, which I really appreciate. I can't thank them enough. So the liquidity basically allows the base for the exchange to reduce price manipulation, right? The higher the market cap is, the more stable the price will be, because you do not have that buying pressure to support the liquidity. Things you saw in my previous videos with Meta VPAD, for example, that launch had a tremendous spike. I can pull that up, right? Let me just show you, because then you have an idea on what we're actually talking about. Let me pull up the right contract, because that is extremely important for you to have an understanding how this is actually working. It's that one. Yeah, this is the one. All right, so when we look at the Meta VPAD launch, they started with $120,000 in market cap with an opening price of 0.001, right? Then obviously it shot up like crazy, pulling in a market cap of, I don't know, like 3 times what it has right now. So 180 million, right, in market cap. Right now, obviously there was a huge sell-off, and now it has been stable around 88-90 million. What that means is that if there's no supported liquidity, the buying and selling pressure of the market controls the price and not necessarily any form of stability. There is a potential, it's not going to say that it's going to occur, there's going to be the potential of huge pump and dumps, right? And that's for a company with the amount of investors that SolChick has, not in their favor for the long-term project, right? This is what I'm still not too sure about, why it matters so much. But this is what they told me is one of the most important things for the venture capitalists that are invested, that the price stabilizes according to what they have in mind is a real valuation, right? So they don't want the market to control it too much. Apparently, this is a super common practice in IPOs of regular companies like Facebook, Coinbase, those type of companies. I just didn't know, and I didn't take it into consideration before, but it does make a lot of sense. So what I want to do is I want to redo my entire price prediction and strategy of the sell-off based on this 38.5 million, because obviously it would be extremely unlikely that a non-fully diluted market cap would be hitting $1 billion upon opening. Just to give you the Meta VPAD example, going back to CoinMarketCap, because that is the video I made most recently, we're talking here about 67 million, so it's not really up to date just yet, but a fully diluted market cap of 2 billion, right, which is already really high. Now you can imagine if there's 38.5, which is basically 7.7%, right, 7.7, what would then the additional 93 be? Let me see if I can make that calculation for you guys. I believe this is correct. So we're at about 4.6 billion, which makes sense because, we got to add those two up, right? So 10 billion on a price of 5 cents-ish. So yeah, you would reach about 5 billion there. A fully diluted market cap of 5 billion just at the start will be crazy if you're expecting a 200x, right? Let's say fully diluted 5 billion, right? Fully diluted 5 billion. Then it would already be on the core market cap chart, fully diluted, right? Not circulating supply, fully diluted, in the top 30. So let's say it would take 100x, which basically means that it would go to like 3.8 billion, right? From his 380 million 3.8 billion. No, it would be 38 billion for 100x, right? So 38 billion, then this game shoots up on like the top 10, which is not going to happen, right? Which is obviously unfortunate, but it does give you some reality that people who are shouting 100x, 200x might not be as aware, and it really surprised me. So I hope definitely that my calculations, my information is wrong. Let me stress that the most, right? Because obviously I am a big investor, which we'll see in a second, into this project, but I learned so much over the last couple of weeks, and that's why I enjoy this process, why I love making these videos for you. So hit that like button if you haven't already. But the thing is, I just keep learning so much, which is my main goal, and obviously to accumulate some wealth along the way would be nice. However, I hope this calculation is wrong, but I doubt it because I got it from very experienced people. Then again, the 100x sounds a little bit far-fetched at this point, right? It really, truly does. However, what could be the amount that we could potentially reach, right? That is the question. So we're going to start at TGE with a price, right? So let me see, price at 0.05, which is basically times, so 1x, right? Times 1 would give us, in this case, a market cap of 38 million, right? And I'm going to just cut some zeros here, divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just to make it a little bit easier. So 38.5 market cap in millions, right? All right, so now what happens with every time we basically want to go +1, right? +1. Can I pull this one? Yeah. Okay, so then it basically goes to price times, so 10 cents. Does that work? I think we need to fix this one. Like so. Yeah, that works. And then the market cap basically goes the same way. Is specifically, how did I do this one? Okay, times the price. Okay, so it's this one. Oh, I can just do this one times 2 as well. Might be easier. And I hope I'm not making mistakes again here along the way, but we'll see. You guys are smarter than me, so we'll see after the video is done. All right, so here we are about 385 million. And this is circulating supply, right? Supply. So I'm going to compare it at fully diluted supplies a little bit later. But yeah, let's pull it up until a 50x or 100x. That went quick. But here we're already talking like 3.8 billion, right? So that's a little crazy for 100x. But let's see. I'm still on the hype train with you. I just need to also be realistic, obviously. Okay, so now look at my vesting, because the vesting I also fucked up last time, where I had diamond tier, which I got for a price 10% discount. So last time I wrote 0.45, which wasn't correct. So the price is 0.05. 0.05 times 0.9 is 0.045, and I think I wrote 0.04 last time. And I got the VIP tier, which is 0.05 times 95, because we got a okay. And then I got the AnyPad tier, which was basically 0.05, right? So these are my prices. Then I put in Solana, which was measured at 196. So I'm going to move that. So a lot of us complained of the price of Solana when we deposited, because I deposited when Solana was 200. Sol price. But actually right now Solana is 170 and the measure point was 196. So that's where they fixed it, 196, which works in our favor unless it moons over the next 24 hours. All right, so basically what we have is the amount that we're going to receive, or let's say Sol invested, which was 150, I believe. Or it was 150, and here I didn't invest Solana, so I can just write down how many tokens I got. This was BUSD, so I'll write BUSD right here, 315. Okay, which gets us tokens, which is basically the Solana invested times the amount, which gives us $19,000 divided by the price. Okay, so this is the amount of tokens we would receive, and we basically do the same for this one, but we just need to alter the last part. So we just need to change this one to G6. Yep. Okay. And for the BUSD, it's easy. It's just the BUSD amount divided by how much we purchased it for. Okay, so we got many tokens, and then we got little tokens, right? Okay, so now these are the total amount of tokens we're going to get, which is about 648,000. Okay, perfect. And then on the TGE, then we got January 13th, February 13th, and March 13th. Those are our vesting dates, right? So it's TGE, vesting 1, vesting 2, 3, 4. We're going to receive 25% of the tokens, which is basically this one times 0.25. Ooh. I'm just going to round it. J3, and then here J4. 4. Okay, and that would be the same across these periods, right? So then the sum must then add up to this, which it does. All right, perfect. I think so far so good, right? So these are the tokens we're going to get. Now, obviously, the price, which is very important, like which way are we going to go? So one fun fact is MEXC, which was announced as listing platform. So not only are we going to list on Radium, which I'll also pull up so everybody can see it. Radium is the Solana DEX, where it will be listed 2 p.m. UTC, December 13th, which is tomorrow. Which basically means that through the DEX, it works just as PancakeSwap, as any other DEX. You connect your wallet, you put in the contract address, and then the tokens. So before you can do that, you need to claim your tokens, which they have a very nice video, which is like mad basic. So we're going to do this. So how to claim on December 13th at 2 p.m. So you can't claim before that. I'm just going to say that because people will ask in the comments, when can we claim? So there will be a claiming dashboard on the Solchicks website. Make sure you're on the wheel website because you have to connect your wallet, obviously. And then this is what it looks like. So you connect your Solana wallet first. Select which wallet you're going to connect. In your case, probably 1. In my case, 2. Right? Then it will generate your total allocation, how much you can claim now and how much you'll be able to claim later, the next unlock date, and the next unlocking amount, which is basically the vesting I wrote down here, right? Almost all launchpads will redirect their claim to the Solchicks website, for your information. There's only one, which I believe is SolStarter, which does their own claim. All the other launchpads will use this claiming dashboard, so it's fair and square for everybody to claim. Which I assume the website might go down, right, because of the crazy volume of users, but we'll see how they manage that. For the private sale, it went decent. The website was not laggy at all. So your total amount claimed, once you hit claim tokens, will appear here. And then you go to your wallet and you'll see the Solchicks tokens in there, which means at this point you could sell the first vesting, the TGE vesting, if you would like to. Now the question is, so that's quite simple, right? I'm not going to show that again. That's basically too simple. Radium, basically then you put in the contract code for Solchicks, which basically, I don't know, it's not available yet, see? But then you put in the contract code here, it will say import Solchicks, then Solchicks will be here, and then I match it against either Radium or USDC. USDC, that's the stable coin that they'll be, those, I think those are the matching pairs, but they will obviously announce that on Telegram and Discord before the launch. All right, so now we go back, right? Now we go back because we have to figure out when we're going to sell and what the potential of this project could be, right? So I'm going to go just pull up 3 projects, nothing more, 3 Solana projects that I always look at, which is Genopats, CryoWar, and Star Atlas, right? Star Atlas being the leader, CryoWar being doing really well, and Genopats being one of my favorites, CryoWar. Okay, I just want to look at the market cap. So this one has done a great run, right? It's a little died out right now, but it went from 80 cents on the IDO, still times 20 right now, 53 market cap after the times 20, fully diluted at 1.5 billion, right? Star Atlas, crazy IDO run, right? So still tremendous gain there, also times 20. If we look at the opening price, I don't know the exact IDO, we can look that up in a second. 265 million, but it has been around for a long time, right? I mean, this has been around for like 4.5 months. Fully diluted at 4.4 billion. CryoWar, 1.2 billion, recently launched 26 million market cap, right? So with a starting market cap of 38 million, including liquidity and everything, it is really high, right? So the market cap is the current price times the circulating supply, right? So in this case, if we would look at, so it's like 1.5 billion fully diluted, 4 billion fully diluted, 1.2 billion. So the fully diluted market cap, I would say in that case, is basically this times, how would we calculate that? Because I did like 93, so the remainder of the amount. So that's like, so in this case, well, we can just do it like that again. So this was 90 is 100 minus 77, okay, 92.3 is the remainder. Okay, and then the sum of these two. Now the sum of these two. Yeah, so 5 billion, right? Okay, because it's basically 10 billion times the IDO price. That's stupid. My bad. Okay, divided by 1 billion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 zeros, 8 zeros on a billion. Yeah. 9 zeros. Okay, just checking. Okay, so 9 zeros. Okay, so one more, which makes it 500 million. Right, so now we have 9 zeros. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, okay. Just making sure this time I'm doing it correct, guys. Just making sure. Okay, so basically the equation goes the same as this one. But then it's not this one that we need the first one. So is this one times this one, and then we lock this one in. So it's 1 billion, and then it basically goes all the way to 50 billion. Okay, so 50 billion, yeah, fully diluted. So let's take a project here. Let's just take a random one. Let's take Quant, which is at fully diluted 3.1 billion, which is not even that high. So that one has not that much room. Gala, one of my favorites, get 20.8 fully diluted, right? Which is like one of the major projects right now. So literally 20.8, like nothing above this mark is ever going to happen on launch, right? So For it to reach $2, it still would be a 40x, but that makes your reality of dreams of 100x extremely unlikely. So with the fully diluted market cap, looking at the most comparable similarities in terms of projects, we're sitting about 4.4 for Star Atlas, which being the major game on Solana, right? But they don't have a game out just yet. Genopets, no game yet. Cryo War, no game yet. 1.2. So let's say we're under 4 billion. Let's hypothetically assume Solchicks would be the #1 Solana blockchain game. So then we would reach 5 billion, right? 5 billion at the max. From what was previously possible, right? As I said, and as I will keep saying, I hope this calculation doesn't mean anything. I hope this calculation is very wrong. I hope my previous calculations are better, and that is actually what's going to happen. But on my newfound information, I just want to make this video to see what my expectations are. So at least my expectations are realistic, right? Because I have a sell-off strategy, and I do want to show you specifically what that means, but it's not looking too good. So I hope I'm very much wrong, and tomorrow we'll have a big party, but we'll see how that goes, right? We'll see. Because the thing is, I never ever heard about this before. So that is like the absolute crazy thing for me, that market cap, public price 9.49 excluding exchange liquidity. Circulating market cap excluding exchange liquidity 9.49. Doesn't say a percentage, but it's just so unclear, this overview. But what is included, what is excluded? Because this one is so I assume the latest one that I had, or did I have another one? Because in the other one I had some more information. Let me check real quick. No, yeah, that's the information that we have at this point. For this slide at least. So I did open the right one. Okay, now let's go back, right? So let's assume that everything I've done so far is correct. What is going to happen? The biggest question of it all, right? Which direction are we going to take? So the sell-off strategy, right? So I'm just going to take into consideration the tokens from the first vesting, right? So tokens vest 1, or tokens TGE, I will say. It's basically TGE, this amount, right? Which at a I'm going to copy this. Oh well, we can I'll put my tokens. We can do it in the same column. Okay, so the price, if it hits 5 cents, just going to round the number if you don't mind. Okay, so this is what I would get. So I get this, which is quite good because the investment is lower. All right, so the investment here. Oh yeah, okay. So I just want to see how to calculate the profits then, yeah. Let me just think for a second. So total invested was basically 150 Solana at this price, right? That's basically, we got it now a little bit beneficial, but let's just say that is correct, right? Plus the 315. So we invested a total of 29.7k, right? So on the vesting 1, our costs were divided by 4. Vesting 1 cost, okay. So my tokens profit in this case would be this minus the first vesting cost, which basically, as soon as it lists and it doesn't do anything, I made $600 profit, but that's because of the discount that's included in the tokens, the 5% here and the 10% here. Okay, so then we have a good amount, and then I won't go into, well, we can do that as well, how much the total profit would be. So then this is the total invested. So in this case, we would talk about, let's say, total tokens TGE, total tokens, just total tokens in general, which would be this amount right here, right? And then we would talk about total profit, which would be, let me just do this one first, is the price times the total tokens okay, and then we also need the total profit, which is basically the total token value, which is this, minus the original base, which is the total investment. Okay, so this is basically for the fully vested one. So let me make it a little bit more readable. So these things belong together. I'll just give it a slight background color so it's easier to read. All right, so ideally, my preferred move would be 15x, right? Still keeping a hold of my 15x as my preferred flow. In that case, the circulating supply would reach 578 million and a fully diluted 8 billion. Is that likely or unlikely? Okay, let's go. So according to this analysis, what I like to do, I'm a consultant, right? An advertising consultant. I own a couple of companies in that space. And I always ask my clients probability of data. Is it likely or unlikely to repeat a pattern based on historic results, right? Which can go quite quickly. Doesn't have to be that strange. So we put the mark here. So I'll probably say anything here. Anything under here is just unlikely. It's just an indicator, yeah, based on historic data. Why? Because we looked at Genopads, CryoWar, and Star Atlas. Then we look at how they spiked in the beginning. So anything up to, let's say, fully diluted market cap of 3 billion, that's likely, right? So we will secure this, 4x at least, and then we have some possible room. So this is basically the room where there might be some back and forth, right? Where the price might move. Does this mean we can't see 30x? No, it might actually happen, and I was very wrong. And I will make an update video saying I was wrong and being fucking ecstatic because I made a fuck ton of money, right? So don't see this as facts. This is just hypothesis, right? Just a hypothesis, nothing more, nothing less than that. Just an indication based on the information we now have acquired, where I previously made my calculation on just the TGE sales metrics, but people a lot smarter than me notified me that I would have to take this into consideration, not because it might have a huge effect on the buying and selling demand, right? Because people have a pre-evaluated plan based on this, right? This is the action, and this is basically the base. However, the base does manipulate or control, therefore, is maybe a better word, how fast the price will move. Because let's say if you put in, let me give you an example, right? Because that's the way they explain it to me, which is maybe a little bit nicer. Okay, so let's say there are 1,000 tokens, yeah, and I put in this is $1,000, yeah. So this is dollars. So I put in $100, right? $100 from me. Then my portion of this pool is going to be 10%, right? 10%. So basically, by any movement I make, whether I then sell or then buy, I control 10% of the pool. Now let's say they increase the base of the pool with additional liquidity. So they increase it by 1,000-fold, right? I still put in $100, but now the price movement that, maybe it's the other way around. Yeah, so 0.1, which is 10%, right? So this is numeric percentage. So 100%, right? So in this case, our percentage power goes a long way down if the initial foundation of the market cap is higher, right? Because our money that we put in has way less weighted influence, percentage-wise, on the total. So if a whale now comes in and pushes $10 million, normally he would increase the price, let's say 50-fold, right? But now maybe only 5 times. Do you understand? I hope you understand. This is basically how I thought would be the easiest explanation, but maybe it's still complicated. I mean, nothing of this shit is easy to explain for me because it's also new, but I'm trying my hardest to make it transparent and clear in which direction we're basically moving, right? So now the real question is, where can we move? So we have a likely field right here. I'm going to change this color because this is not the mark where we can go. This is the mark where I would love to go, right? But it's unlikely that we would reach that stage. Now, there are some possibilities here, which I'm going to make the entire color, of a range of a 5x to a 9x, right? Which would still be great because then in total, I would make about $261,000 profit. Amazing, but it's a long-term view. In the short term, I would have 65K profit, which sounds disappointing based on my previous expectations. However, I would say anything above 10,000, according to my investment, would be good. So I'm just looking for a 3x really to make me happy on the first vesting, right? If I can pocket $16,000, I mean, I'm not in that moon boy, I'm conservative. I would be extremely happy if it does a 30x, but unlikely, as I said. All right, so if this is a 10x right here, which is already the marker where things are starting to become unlikely, right? 300K profit there, where the fully diluted is 5 billion, right? We have a 385 million circulating supply at that point. Including the exchange liquidity and everything else. However, there's obviously some hype news, right, which we have to take into consideration. So we have the MEXC global allocation here. So they create reward pools. Let me just read what that's about. Kickstarter, vote and receive airdrops. What is a Kickstarter event? The Kickstarter event is an activity during the pre-launch stage of a project in which the project initiates voting for the launch on MEXC and then airdrops its tokens free to all successful voting users. If the set goals are not met, MEXC will cancel the listed project and unlock the voting tokens. This event is designed to attract more premier projects to list on MEXC and provide free airdrops to the users. All right, that's quite cool. Is Solchicks going to list on MEXC? Fuck yes. So let me just refresh this. So we have the most up-to-date data, but the target voting rate required was 500%. Voting participation rate reaches the target for the split of the token rewards. If not, the listed project tokens will be cancelled and the voting tokens will be unlocked. So they allocate MEXC tokens in order to vote which projects to list. And this one was highly successful, as you can see. It is oversubscribed 215,000%, right? Which means that millions have been allocated to this listing, while that's not even required, right? The trade will open at 3 p.m. Tomorrow, which I don't know which time zone this is in, but I assume my time zone, which means that it's 2 p.m. UTC, right? So basically it's a fact. Solchicks is still in high demand, as we can see by 215,000% oversubscription. When we compare it to the other ones, the Spawn is really popular, Toon is not, eGame is a little, but all of them are quite high in demand, right? The oversubscriptions in general are quite used, maybe not for the smaller projects, but Soldex is a really big project and it only has 55k. So that's a good sign. This one has 304,000%, and the listing time, well, that's already in the past, all right. So these are the latest ones, basically. These are all ended already. Okay, so I've never seen this one before, that's why I'm curious to see. I also have Monopolist, fun fact, and I just see this right now. Anyway, Solchicks, yeah, a good indicator. The listing time will happen tomorrow on MEXC, right? Then there's obviously the talk about, you know, KuCoin might be interested as they joined the Solchicks incubator as a seed investor or whatever. We would have to see, right? These exchanges will be added either within the week after the token generation event or at a later stage, which, yes, does highly influence the price, but it doesn't influence the price tomorrow if it's not listed there, right? So this is just what is going to happen tomorrow on the token generation event listing for the first time, right? Anything else? We don't know. I can't foresee the future. Maybe, as I said, this calculation is completely wrong, but I do want to prepare the selling strategy for you, which we'll start on in a second. I'm just reviewing everything if everything looks good. So we're looking at, okay, 5, 20 cents, 4x. This all looks realistic to me. Then the profit is good, and then a maximum here, where I would love to be the maximum here. Then you got 8 million fully diluted, 578 circulating supply. With 578 circulating supply, where do we reach in the coin market cap top 100? Not within the first 100, but definitely in the first 200. So we would list 578 in the current market. We would list on place 128. Right, 128 if it gets verified, right? So that usually takes some time, but that means that we would list just under Radium, which is the DEX that the Solchicks would list on, fully diluted, only at 4 billion, right? So yeah, the tokenomics. I hope I'm so wrong about the tokenomics, because how I'm seeing it right now, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Or if this excludes maybe the fully diluted, like exchange liquidity or something. So fully diluted market cap, price times max supply. If max supply is null, price total supply. Yeah, but in the supply, the liquidity must be there, right? So difficult. All new, learning, progressing, very much curious, right? So let's assume in this regard that I've done everything correct. All there's left now, based on this price prediction, is to make the selling strategy, which we will do right now. So the selling strategy, what are we going to do and how are we going to do it? But before we touch upon the selling strategy, I just took a second real quick to verify how to calculate the market cap of a cryptocurrency. So they say the market cap of a cryptocurrency is calculated by multiplying the circulating supply with the price of the coin or the token. So market cap is circulating supply times price. Just to make sure I'm not making any mistakes this time, right? Because it's quite important for you and for myself to do things correctly. We all know nothing in this video is financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. However, still very important to note, what is circulating supply? So I did look that up. What is the difference between circulating supply, total supply, and max supply? Circulating supply is the best approximate number of coins that are circulating in the market and general public hands. Total supply is the total amount of coins in existence right now, minus any of the coins that have been burned. Max supply is the approximate maximum of coins that will ever exist. All right. So there was another one which I wanted to highlight, which is very important. It had a specific keyword in it that I was looking for here. What is the circulating supply used in determining the market capitalization instead of total supply? We found that circulating supply is a much better metric for determining the market capitalization. Coins that are locked, reserved, or not able to be sold to the public market are coins that can't affect the price and thus should not be allowed to. Okay. Coins that are locked for liquidity. Okay. So we go down the rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go. Why should liquidity be locked? Okay, infamous rug pull, that won't happen, right? Okay, how long should the tokens be locked? How much liquidity should be locked? Okay, liquidity hamper, not at all. You are locking your liquidity tokens and not your original token. Investor can freely exchange your token more confidently. How do I lock? Okay, so what is the benefit of locking liquidity? That's what I want to know. Specifically, I think that's like super important right now at this point. This is just an overview. Okay, so here we'll go to Reddit, not the best source to be fair, but let's have a look. Okay, so I've been seeing a lot of liquidity lock mentioned in altcoin projects. What I wonder is to really prevent you from selling your coins. Cannot even swap when it comes to some other coin. If so, red flag. Okay. Yes, locked liquidity is usually promoted because it means that the contractor cannot access the liquidity pool to steal the funds, like in a rug pool. It's a good thing to verify because if it's not locked, the developer can drain the liquidity pool and run. Okay, so the liquidity is locked. And then, okay, like 10% of supply in one wallet and they dump it. Okay. Alternatively, means the devs mint infinite coins and immediately dump them. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Okay, so we understand that. Anyway, just to make sure the situation is correct. In a situation where the market cap would not be influenced by the liquidity, because still, I'm just going to be transparent with you, because I'm not really too sure about this yet. You know, I only spent half an hour on research on this. If this is true, then this is what the formula looks like. If this is not true, then my previous video, which I will link in the description down below, will be true, right? Which means that basically everything that we have in terms of estimates goes times 4-ish. 9? Yeah, 4. So this one, initial market cap that I calculated was 9 million. Now it's 38.5 million, which means that times 4 would be the potential. So we're not going for a 10x. Where we would go for a 40x, which then in terms of the profits would look a lot more of a cash grab. Okay, so strategic sell-off based on the current hypothesis. Yeah, okay, strategic sell-off. Sell off. Okay, again, we're going back to the amount of tokens that we hold. The amount of tokens that we have for the first vesting is 162043. So this is the amount of tokens that we have. Now, what would be smart to sell this for, right? We need to compensate the investment, right? Which was on the first vesting, this. So I need to be able to get at least 7.428. My goal, however, is I will reach a little bit into the possible flow. So I will go for a 6x. Yeah, I'll calculate all the way up to a 6x, which would reach 3. Yeah, okay. So we're going to work with this. Wait. I will calculate up to a 6x. Why? Just because I can. Okay, so obviously at 1x we're not going to sell anything. So I'll do a percentage-based hub and then see how the values come out. So I'm looking to make, in this scenario, if I would sell all at a 6x, I would make a profit of about 41k. 25k would be good. So we are looking for a total gain of 25k. That would make me happy. So that's what I'm looking for. The investment was this. So I basically need my net total gain to be the total gain plus the investment, because I need to earn that back for the first vesting. So I need 32.428 with this amount of total tokens, right? So now we're going to align it with the price of the coin, right? So we start selling at a 3x if we want to go for, so the first one will probably be 0.15, and then we'll just do, every time we'll just do plus 0.05, see, and then it would reach 30. So we'll do it in 4 steps. Maybe that's a little too small, but we would see. So in this case, I would ideally do, let me see, 20%. Is that correct? And then here, 30, 60, 60, yeah, 30, 30, 20, like this. So I take a little bit less risk here, a little bit more risk once we're around the center point, and then less risk at the end. So this is 100% total, right? Okay, so this is then coins. So we would sell at this point 20%. We would sell at this point 30%. We would also sell 30% at this point, and we would also sell 20% at that point. Right? Maybe I would have to make formulas. Maybe it's easier, because in that case, if I want to adjust the numbers later, then it makes sense. So I just have to fix this, because otherwise, if I change the percentages later, then the formulas won't adjust. And that's why we're using Excel, for the convenience. Perfect. Okay, so so there's revenue. And now we need to see if this adds up to what I want it to be. Okay, so this needs to equal 32,000. Does it or does it not? Yes, it's even more. Okay, 36,460. Okay, so we are a little bit too heavy. We don't have to go that far, so we might change this one. Probably I'll change this one to 35%, then change this one to 25%, then just one to 15%. Yeah, that's better. A little bit lower even. Change this one to 50, 25. Change this one to 30. Just make sure that it's still 100%, and it's not. So we need to do this one 30. So we'll be a little bit more aggressive in the beginning, then slow it down. Oh, hang on. I'll do 30, 30, 30, 10. Maybe that's the best one. No, still too high. Okay. So we don't even have to go that high to get the initial gain there. 5%. Ooh, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to sell at 14.9 like this. So I'm basically out before the other people on the whole numbers are going to get out. Okay, that's smart. Yeah, you gotta think ahead, my friends. You gotta think ahead. So I'll do 32.5 here, which I will also do here. And then we reach the goal perfectly. So that would mean at 14.89 cents, which is just under a 3x, I would dump 52,000 coins for a revenue of 7k. Then I'll take 10k, then I'll take 12k, and then I'll take the remainder 2k. This one I would say might be flooding, meaning I might not sell it unless I have to when the price goes up even more. Yeah, I think this is the most realistic thing I can do really at this point. Being quite transparent with you at this point. I don't know if this calculation adds up, to be fair. I feel like it's very complicated. So either it's supposed to be this way and I did it wrong all along, right? Because I'm new to this, that might be the case. Otherwise, I feel like why would a project start with such a high market cap if it reduces the possibility for growth relative to the total market by such a huge percentage, right? So the question is, this liquidity that's being added, which is 100% TGE at 5%, which is basically, you know, it's 555 million, right? At this point, it's is it 5 million? Times the price. Oh yeah. So it's definitely responsible for a huge part. So liquidity, to take that into consideration, is it the right thing to do? Yes or no? Well, that's like an amazing question. Obviously, that is basically the question of the day. Okay. Is liquidity added in the circulating supply? That's basically the question I have. Yeah, I know the total market price times the total coins, but is liquidity as well added or not? Understanding tokenomics, circulating supply. I just need to know about liquidity, that's all. Liquidity. Here we go. So this is like the most important one. Is liquidity added in the circulating supply? Or not? Okay, this one is interesting. A liquid asset, one can be traded easily for cash. Okay, so that's the case. Liquidity there. Regardless of liquidity, okay, how demand and supply. Yeah, I already told you guys how that works. Okay, uncertainty, the effects of supply. Most is fixed restricted supply. In case Bitcoin, the maximum supply is 21 million with the current restricted supply. For other altcoins, the supply is relatively restricted. They will, assuming that this supply remains relatively unchanged in the short term, a sudden drop of demand would necessitate a consequent drop in price. But the question is, what happens if there's a smaller circulating supply? How would that affect it? Yeah, demand drops, supply is abundance, price will rapidly drop. That makes sense. To imagine a situation, okay. Supply is unchanged while demand drops. Okay. But what about the liquidity then? Liquidity trap hypothesis. Yeah, but that's not what we're looking at. Okay. Okay, Coinbase. There we go. Market capitalization, or market cap is the dollar value of the shares. Okay, market cap. Why does it mention liquidity then? Okay, large cap cryptocurrencies. Market cap investors consider low risk because they have higher liquidity. Yeah, so they're less volatile. Higher volume of people cashing out with the price dramatically being impacted. Yeah, so this is basically exactly what I said in the beginning about the liquidity. However, nobody online apparently seems to have the answer if you include it in the circulating supply or not. However, because they put the TGE, I'm going to say we did the right thing. The calculations are correct at this point, and this is the selling strategy that I'll be following tomorrow, the holy grail, where we see if we're going to the moon or if we're going to get wrecked. One of these two. And I assume we're going to the moon. So to summarize, because I don't want this video to be way too long. Well, it's already super long. So if you made it up until this point, thank you very much for listening to my gibberish. The possibilities are, will it reach a 4x? Likely. Will it reach a 10x? Possible. Will it reach anything beyond a 10x? According to the data as presented on the screen here right now, unlikely, right? Which is basically the answer you came here for. If you trust Mr. Digits, aka Mr. Research, aka Mr. Getting It Done, with this research, as I proposed it according to this hypothesis, then this is the truth and the only one truth. However, I'm not super confident in my calculation myself, to be fair. However, it does seem quite coherent. It's just so all new to me. So I don't want to spin your mind too much. Definitely do your own research on this. I think I'm correct. And if I'm not correct, let's say I made a mistake. Yeah, let's assume I made a mistake. Please help me try to improve this by writing in the comments a detailed explanation of what I forgot to take into consideration, or if the explanation is perfect and this is what we're going to aim for tomorrow. As I said before, nothing is set in stone. The market does what the market does. If Bitcoin shoots up, we might see like a huge influx of cash and we're going to see 100x. However, that is unlikely. So that is my advice. This is the sell-off strategy I'm going to use. This is what I'm going to do for the first vesting tomorrow. It will list on Radium. MEXC has a huge oversupply, over demand, right? Little supply, over demand. So that's a very big hype indication that the hype for Solchicks is still real. It is still there. We might be able to see great things coming up in the near future for this project. Am I pumped? Yes. Do I hope to see 100x tomorrow? 100%. Probably tomorrow evening, if we're not out celebrating, getting drunk because it has been such an amazing day, I will record a video, or the day after tomorrow, recapping the entire situation. What happened, if I was right, if I was wrong, our thoughts, our emotions, everything. If you want to see that, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you made it up on this point, you are a real one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.